Yes, Troy has arrived. They have totally expunged already a dismal year as kickoff week presented by Taco Bell comes to the Coliseum, roars for this new USC era. There is more new ahead. We know that. And look, I can't bury the lead. Yogi Roth's an author, a best-selling author. Congrats, Yogi. What are we going to see today from the new USC Trojans?
Well, the beginning of a great story, and the leader of that, of course, is Lincoln Riley, but one of his best characters, it's Caleb Williams. He's an absolute star. Only 7 starts in his career, Ted, but he is destined to be one of the greats here. I love his work ethic. We're going to see it on display this afternoon.
And the Trojans getting ready to make their entrance onto the field at the Coliseum. You saw the walk a few moments ago, which is a great part of USC football tradition. This tunnel that so many, as are indicated by
How about that?
The walls painted behind. The tunnel that Yogi ran out of a few times as a coach.
Well, you walk down that tunnel and you just feel the history. This team knows that history. They're trying to make some of their own, and it starts this afternoon.
Well, there are transfers from 6 other schools in this conference on this team. Transfers that came from powerhouses like Alabama. There's something about USC, despite last year, that drew football talent back to this place.
Yeah, and these fans can feel it. They can feel the excitement in LA is unlike anything I felt in the last decade, Ted. The anticipation for that man right there, Caleb Williams. And here comes this team.
Well, that fire is appropriate. It may be 100 degrees this afternoon at the Coliseum, but it is all new for USC, Lincoln Riley, and a talented cast of characters. Pac-12 Kickoff Week is presented by Taco Bell and brought to you by Old Trapper. What's your beef? And by Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Well, we talk all about offense. That's the focus. Let's face it. Coach offense, quarterback offense, great receivers offense. But Lincoln Riley said it to you, Yogi. He knows this has to change.
Oh, yeah. He and defensive coordinator Alex Grinch, they understand what is in front of them with this defense. A lot of new faces, Ted, but not the productivity on the offensive side. When you look at some of the transfers that came in, they're going to have to wait a little while, though, to put that defense on the field.
The Rice Owls playing their last year in Conference USA. Yogi, you remember well from your reading of the Iliad and the Odyssey that the Greeks used a lot of smarts and toughness, and they sacked Troy. The Greek goddess of wisdom, Athena, her symbol is the owl. Oh, how about that for today?
Stories just keep coming, brother.
Touchback to start things off on the Rice kickoff.
Let's take a look at Caleb Williams by the numbers. Last year, look, when he came onto the scene in the Texas game, he was the talk of all of college football, but he only has 7 starts. There's still room for him to grow. He's an elite player. He's got all the tools, Ted, but as we sat down with his head coach yesterday, Lincoln Riley said, look, there's a lot of things that we worked on this offseason, efficiency being number 1 that he wants to see from his quarterback.
So much new, and we'll get through them. Right alongside Caleb Williams is Travis Dye. You know him well from Oregon. Over 3,000 career yards there. But right away in space is Jordan Addison's first catch as a Trojan.
And here comes the tempo from Caleb Williams. Remember, this is his 2nd year in this system, so he has understood the offense. He got all the basics a year ago, and now he's trying to play graduate level football within the system, bringing guys along like Jordan Addison.
12 yards on the first play. 4-man front for Rice.
Look at those splits. They're so wide.
And out of the gun, the handoff to Dye, runs it out across the 40.
You take a look at the previous play. You want to talk about poetic. How about this? Two transfers to one another, wide open, and the defense looking to see here again.
A little option pullback there by Williams, but a good tackle by Rice that stops Taj Washington short.
The defense they're going to see a lot today, Ted. It's called match coverage. Think about basketball. If you're going to pass off and switch. That's what's going to happen a lot with the secondary and linebackers of Rice. They're going to be passing off routes and see how USC attacks that.
And the Rice people knew very well their secondary was going to get seriously challenged today. Here's an empty on a short third down. Look at the wide open receiver. And the speed. And the finish all the way down inside the 15 for Washington.
The concept was awesome. The spacing, the timing, the anticipation. You see a bunch of players come on and off. Ted, we were in practice last week. I've used your quote many times. USC comes at you in waves, and here comes another wave of playmakers.
That was 43 yards for Riley in the offense. That's longer than any reception Taj Washington had last year when he actually had a good year here. But this is it. They have depth at receiver that you don't often see in a college program. So now red zone. And this is another first early test for USC this year. Inside give to a freshman. I have a feeling you're going to get used to seeing this number 14, Raleek Brown from Modern Day High. He can run.
And he was a commit to Oklahoma, and when Lincoln came here, he ran right to USC. One of the early flips right off the bat, and he's world-class speed, world-class athlete. He's going to have a nice package early on in the season, Ted. His role will grow, much like Adoree Jackson's role grew as a freshman. Reggie Bush's role grew as a freshman.
Right to the right of Caleb Williams is Austin Jones, another transfer from Stanford. And he's going to lead block. And Brown did a nice job to bounce off that block, take it down to the 5. And just very quickly, why reference why this is significant. Lincoln Riley's done a great job of being candid and saying, look, red zone matters a lot. Caleb Williams had the best quarterback rating in America last year in the red zone.
Caleb's decision-making and his anticipation are two of his greatest assets. He's been that way in high school at every level in his career. And now within this offense, he's just got a way about him where the ball can get out. He could see it cleanly and clearly.
All right, Addison is down at the bottom by himself. Mario Williams, tight slot to the top. Brendan Rice furthest out. Williams pulls it back, and there's Addison, and there's the first USC touchdown.
Watch this route. It's a little whip route. Inside slant. Nope. See you later. First play of the game, he caught a slant. Touchdown on the last play of this drive. Fake the slant. Bust out to the sideline. Touchdown. Williams to Addison. I think we can get used to saying that one.
Yeah, that'll be something we talk about during the game today. Jordan Addison has a whole lot of expectation on him. You can understand it. That's the first kick in the college career of the new USC kicker, lefty Dennis Lynch.
Look, this duo has made a lot of noise off the field about their business. They're going to make a lot of noise on the field when they're about business. Finding each other not once, but twice. First touchdown in the Lincoln Riley era.
Well, we should point out, this is a guy we know well and have a lot of respect for, Mike Bloomgren, now his 5th year as the head coach at Rice. First head coaching job. He had spent 7 years prior to getting that job at Stanford. A big part of the physical, pounding ground game that Stanford had employed while he was there.
Yeah, well, the phrase is trademarked by him, which is intellectual brutality. And that's what they want this team to be. He knows offensively they're going to have to slow the game down, steal a couple possessions, and that first look at USC's offense solidified that game plan for him.
A kick into the field of play. And Bouncing off a few tackles for Rice. Esdale gets it out across the 25. All right, here's our Allegiant nonstop life.
Well, this is the touchdown. Little play action fake, and this one was easy. Man-to-man coverage on the outside with the Blitnikoff reigning winner. Slant, already beat him on a slant. Gonna run the slant and then bring it back out. I love the play call from Lincoln Riley, setting up the Rice defenders. And look, when you line up across from Jordan Addison, you already can feel his speed and his presence. Man, he's impressive getting in and out of that cut.
Kick return by Juma Ottaviano gets Rice a decent drive start. Their quarterback is Wiley Jones. Running back Henri Broussard on the first carry. Wiley Green from Coppell, Texas. That's in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Missed most of last year.
Yeah, and it was a battle for him. You know, you look at the way last year ended. T.J. McMahon, kind of the presumptive starter. Close battle in camp. Green ends up winning the competition late. The staff said, look, it was a handful of plays, which is why we chose him. His decision making, a huge part of that.
So Rice goes empty on second down. Quick throw's going to get him a first down right away. Pitching it to Jack Bradley.
Yeah, don't you love these games where USC, they're going to go fast on offense, and here we go, old school huddle from the Rice Owls.
Where do you think Bloomberg was before Rice?
Amen.
Stanford.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
You know what's great about Mike Bloomberg, too? He had chances to take other jobs, but he wanted to go to Rice because of the fit, because of the student athlete that he coached at Stanford and the comparison education-wise to Rice.
So immediately 4 wideouts for Green, and quick throw, but a very good tackle. That lives right up to Lincoln Riley's spot. Shane Lee, another transfer. Shane Lee coming into grab a starting linebacker spot. 53, played at Alabama.
Yeah, what a great story for him. Was a freshman All-American, and then got injured. And that program, as we all know, has a ton of depth. He rarely saw the field after that. Was looking for a new home. Now he's in grad school. He's a captain. He's a leader in the middle of this defense.
All right, 3 to the wide side and a run to the short side, but Shane Lee is there to disrupt that. Cameron Montgomery on the catch.
So when you look at the defensive stars to watch today, we've referenced Shane Lee a few times. How about Tuli Tuipulotu? I think he's the best overall player on this defensive side of the field. He'll be at the bottom of your screen. He'll play defensive end, defensive tackle. And right here on a critical third down, he's going to line up right next to, I think, Corey Foreman at the bottom of the screen. But these two defenders right here, 2 leaders, 2 captains, right down there. Watch them coming off the edge here.
And Foreman is up top, wearing 0. Third down and 8. Montgomery's run was a -1. And Green buys extra time and a good catch. Boy, put just enough air on that ball to allow, okay, another familiar name, Luke McCaffrey.
Oh, yes. Well, how about quarterback right now? The pressure comes, Corey Foreman and coming right in the middle. He steps into it and finds Mr. McCaffrey. Yes, the same family of Christian, of Ed, of Lisa, of Max. Former quarterback, now playing wideout.
Yep. Transferred in from Nebraska, where he did play some quarterback. And of course, the connection with Mike Bloomgren very clear. Just on the USC side of the 50, there's a TFL. Tackle for loss. Welcome to USC, Eric Gentry.
Yeah, well, Ted, I remember a year ago, you and I went to training camp, and he was playing at Arizona State, and he stood out. 6'6", long, athletic. He's got some freaky strength to him. When he's unblocked, he's going to make a lot of plays. I'm excited to watch him in the heart of this defense for Alex Grinch.
6'6", playing in the middle of the field. Actually, technically not a loss, a 0 play, so not a tackle for loss. Play action. Boy, Green stood in there because he was going to get smacked by Nick Figueroa. And that's a measure of quarterback right there, because he knew this was coming.
Yeah, this is all effort right here by Figueroa. You see him at the bottom of your screen. 4-point stance. Look at his get off. That's a great job of using his hands as a weapon against the hands of that right tackle, Ethan Oniawa.
And that's another see how he took the quarterback down? That's been proof how the game's changed.
Yeah,
that was a good, clean takedown. So now 3rd and 10, Rice. Oh, McCaffrey. Boy, nice throw again by Green, finding McCaffrey just a small little window for 19 yards.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Marcus Tuiasosopo, the offensive coordinator, and Mike Lundgren pregame on the field, and they said, look, we love our matchup with Luke McCaffrey in the slot. He's going up against a nickel defender, Jalen Smith. This is the 2nd start of his life. He's a 2nd-year player right out of here in Southern California, and keep an eye on that. We'll continue to try to feed Luke McCaffrey.
Oh, what a lift this is for Rice, just to move the ball in their first possession. Broussard single back. Oh, a play action throw, and that's another new Trojan, but not new to the league. Mekhi Blackmon from Colorado.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a pick there.
Yeah, gonna want that one back. That's just a misfire from Green. Look, when guys are in your face, you can't have flawed mechanics. Green, his footwork wasn't good. The ball died on him, and Mekhi Blackmon right through his hands.
So 2nd and 10 for Rice. Shifting out there with Bradley Rosner up top by himself. Single wide out. And that's a formation for Mike Bloomgren. That's going to go back to Stanford days. That was 2 tight ends and a fullback.
Brother, this offensive line, they felt good about it coming in. It's a very veteran group. Shea Baker's your right guard. Keep an eye on him on the right side of your screen. We see him pull. Oniawa, he cracks down. It's a nice job of just having an ill intent in the run game.
That was the brutality part right there.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 tight ends and a fullback. That's throwback. So now it gives Rice 3rd and 5. 2 tights again. McCaffrey swings in motion. Just as a distraction, that is going to be a 1st down, just past the line to gain. Bradley Rosner.
Marcus Tuiasosopo is doing a really nice job of making sure the ball gets out. Right? Think about it on this drive. Anything where Riley Green's had to hold onto the ball, someone's been in his face. So he learned real quick, hey, let's just get it out of his hands. See if he can find a guy 4 yards, 6 yards. Nice job schematically. Now look at him spreading it out.
Yep. There's Tuiasosopo. Of course, he has Pack written all over him. Most recently coached at Cal. Empty now in the red zone for Rice. There's McCaffrey. Well, I'm just watching one drive here, and I'm saying McCaffrey reminds me of a lot of those Washington State receivers. Just find ways to get open.
Yeah, and that route, for anybody watching, that's so impressive because as he comes out of that, he's got to read man or zone. If it's man, he's running out of it. It's zone coverage, he just settles in and then gets immediately upfield.
So 12 yards there. It is 1st and goal. McCaffrey has caught 3 on this opening drive. Green has completed 6. And that's bottled up by USC on the first carry for Dean Connors.
Lincoln Riley said something pretty impressive this week in his weekly press conference. He said, hey, defensively, we got to force teams to just keep getting 3, because you won't beat us if you go 3, 3, 3, field goals. There's going to be a critical moment here inside, right on the 5-yard line. See if USC can hold up or if Rice can punch it in and match the score.
Well, there's that brutality part of the equation again. Now you're going to go big, 2 tight ends and a fullback, Jerry Johnson. Broussard, bigger back in the tail. Not there. Nothing there. That's Dejon Benton that made the hit for USC.
You know what's interesting, Ted? Keep an eye on this as the game goes on. Alex Grinch became extremely famous in the college football world for the stemming. That is the movement of defensive linemen pre-snap. So much so that you talk about it with the officials before every game. They did it on that last snap. Let's see if this defensive line sets in one spot, moves to another.
It's a great call. I was made Hercules Mataafa a draft pick. 3rd and goal. And the crossing route to McCaffrey. And that stopped just short. Just short of the goal line. And Mike Bloomgren Basically, you have no decision to make here.
Yeah, you're going for it. But I would say this would look close from up here. Right there. How about the stop? That's Sierra Wright, Makai Blackman.
Caleb Bullock. So now it is 4th down and not even the length of the football.
I wonder if well, they review everything, but clearly not enough.
Play clock running down, so Rice has to go quickly. Rice may have to take a timeout. Let's see. Yeah, Mike Bloomgren saw it. Marcus Tuiasosopo actually saw it. He ran on the field and took the timeout. That was Tui.
Timeout.
Man.
Rice, they're first to the half.
Bloom can move, too.
Tui still has some hops.
Yes. Yeah. Well, what Mike Bloomgren is saying right now is like, hey, aren't you going to go look at that previous play on the crossing route to Luke McCaffrey? And the officials saying everything is reviewed. There's a big emphasis this year, Ted, on making sure that officials can expedite reviews.
Yes.
That means it goes immediately to the press box, to the review officials, and they say, hey, yes or no. And we don't have to stop the play in the game and continue to elongate the game. You take another look. This is a great shot right down the line here. The ball's got to cross. That's close to me.
Yeah, but the question is going to be, did McCaffrey nudge the ball over the plane? But you have bodies in the way.
Yeah, and the shadow's kind of there too.
Yeah, so, but you're right, that is a point of emphasis that everybody in college knows now this year, is that we're not going to stop every single game on every possible review. So here we go. Now Rice has a chance to reset after Bloomgren got the timeout. 4th down and a foot. Johnson fullback, Broussard deep. And Broussard's in for the Rice touchdown. Ari Broussard from New Orleans.
Mike Bloomgren told us in pregame, he said, I owe it to this team to be aggressive. 4th and goal, how about the kick out by the fullback? Broussard meets a tackler, knows exactly how low he needs to get, where he needed to get to. Nice job, short yardage goal line, touchdown for the Owls.
Rice kicker is Christian Van Sickle, grad student, Charlotte, North Carolina. And that is some opening statement by Rice after USC's quick strike. The Owls answer with a 16-play touchdown drive. Well, there's a slightly dated picture, but a fabulous, what's become a fabulous football family. Ed and Lisa McCaffrey and the 4 boys all followed Dad. Dad was a tremendous receiver in the NFL for a long time. And shockingly, I mean, it just kills me every time I see it, because I was Stanford's radio announcer when freshman Ed McCaffrey arrived on campus from Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And he was an excellent receiver at Stanford. And of course, Stanford's kind of the roots of things. And it's where this connection started, because Mike Bloomgren was the OC/offensive line coach when Christian was there. All right, Brendan Rice going to run this from the goal line for the Trojans. Oh, good cover by Rice. Boy, that was a nice job fighting through a block to tackle Dean Connors on the cover.
All right, so let's take a look at Luke McCaffrey. 4 catches, 44 yards on that opening drive. And he did it in a bunch of different ways, Ted. He'd line up in the slot. He'd line up outside. He'd run an option route. He'd run a crossing route. Point is, he's running routes, right? This is a guy who was a quarterback a year ago, and he said, look, when the season was over, I do a lot of soul searching. I dove into the position. I fell in love with the position. I fell back in love with football. And now I know Rice Owl fans, they are falling in love with what he's done early on in this ballgame.
Well, let's give credit. That was Litchfield Abijan who made the good kick cover tackle. Quick reminder of how much I detest double numbers. Williams, it's a good job to bounce. How about that? How about that throw to dive right on the money to dive?
He's got something special about him. Look, he directed traffic, and then just the only spot right through the hand of Dunbar. And look, it's going to be interesting, right? On this drive, we got a new left tackle in Bobby Haskins. Cortland Ford started the game, so it felt a little pressure there.
Haskins, another transfer coming in after playing at Virginia. 8 yards on the terrific escape by Caleb Williams. Brendan Rice down at the very bottom. Mario Williams slot left. Again, Addison alone to the top. And Travis Dye is going to churn forward and get a first down.
This run game is so amazing, right? Let's remember, Lincoln Riley is from the air raid tree. He walked on to Texas Tech to play quarterback for Mike Leach. An injury forced him into being a student assistant coach and just fell in love with the idea of coaching and also this system. But he's added the run game in a way that nobody from the air raid has in my eyes. It's so intricate, so much movement. We're seeing that early on.
Williams did a nice job. That's the part of Caleb Williams' run that was impressed him in his stints at Oklahoma last year, was his ability to make people miss.
Yeah, well, everybody remembers the first play of his career on that big touchdown against Texas, but he just has a great sense for pressure. He can feel pressure. Look at even how he falls forward, never really taking a hit.
Going for Rice. And Rice, well, there's going to be a flag here. So Rice was jostling, trying to hold off Sean Fresh.
There is a flag on the play.
This is going to be an interesting call here because Brendan Rice's right arm.
Yes.
They're going pass interference on the defense.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And everybody on the Rice sideline is signaling what you just said, Yo.
Yeah, let's see the replay of what he and Fresh, they're tangled up. I don't know. That's on both guys. So, former receiver, I always go offense, Ted, but to me, I understand the Rice frustration there.
Yeah. All right, first down at the 50. Dye alongside. The depth of the receiving corps, again, 4 of them out there, all quality players. And Taj Washington, the underneath cross, but can't hold it.
Washington, the intended receiver.
That had a chance to be a big play. They blockers downfield. Creativity from Lincoln Riley, to me, is something to just continue to track as we see another wave of offensive players come on.
Yogi, your point about the run game said, I mean, that's been, look, we've seen USC, and you know how it's been frustrating for a lot of USC fans. Just the mere fact that Lincoln Riley acknowledges tight end is a position in football. You can use a tight end.
Yeah, you know,
Dye gets a couple of yards, and as a result, you won't have a situation like USC faced 2 years ago where Kayvon Thibodeau single-handedly crushed him in the championship game.
Yeah, you can't have a short edge. And this defensive front for Rice, they got guys who played a lot of football. Keep an eye at the top of the screen, 7, Trey Schumann, a captain for them.
Here's a big play for the Rice D. Can they stop a 3rd and long? Boy, how about Travis Dye blocking? How about that? The pass, the catch, the run by Kyron Hudson, but Travis Dye just earned that.
The finish, you know, the finish, the experience of Travis Dye was on display as you see SC hurry up and get to the line of scrimmage.
29 yards on the catch and run by Hudson. Taj Washington. That is another thing you hear me rail about all the time. I mean, everybody talks about running backs' yards gained. Can they block?
Yeah.
Look at Travis Dye.
Well, you'll see the initial contact, but watch the finish, right? A lot of times you see running backs grab guys. The leg drive from him. This is a guy who's played a ton of football in the Pac-12 conference. He wanted to come home. He got married this offseason. He's so excited to play here for this program, and it's not just when he gets touches. Huge pickup for him.
Austin Jones now the running back, but the quarter expires.
That is the end of the first quarter.
Well, offense has won the quarter. Only 3 possessions. The 3rd one has got USC now back in the Rice red zone. All right, as we get set to start the 2nd quarter, there is an official review. It's presented by Chime, and they're reviewing a possible targeting call, which again, as we've learned over the last few years, targeting reviews and calls can be initiated from the review booth. That's the play, helmet to helmet hit there on
After
Washington.
review, there is no foul for targeting.
Kirk Lockhart, the safety for Rice, the defender.
Nice job by him not leading with the crown of the helmet. And remember, for Rice, defensively, they bring back Myron Morrison, who's an inside linebacker for them in the second half. He had a targeting penalty in their finale a year ago. Ted, it's amazing when you think about Caleb Williams being here. Right, the biggest transfer, I think, in the history of the portal. But then you look at what is college football. Today, we talked about this offseason, right? 44% of the projected starters they're going to play as the day unfolds are at their second or even third school.
Staggering.
Yeah.
But it's the world today. Austin Jones, the running back now on second down. And a little reverse flip. Look at the space for Mario Williams. Inside the 5.
Another one of those transfers that this guy can fly. He's got a different type of speed. Jones on the fake. They find him on the end around. These old teammates, Caleb Williams and Mario Williams, they are here. And man, you feel them when you watch them practice. That's the first time we've really felt it today.
Watch again, USC has Addison by himself at the bottom on 1st and goal. Sean Fresh trying to get right up on the line against him. So move Addison out of that, running Jones, and Austin Jones has the USC touchdown. Austin Jones scored 12 touchdowns in his career at Stanford. That's his first at USC. And a very strong Trojan drive. That was 11 plays, 84 yards. And the extra point by Lynch added on.
28 transfers to USC. Austin Jones, an intra-conference transfer. He's been so excited to play. Finds the end zone. SC up 7. The Jordan Addison effect at wide receiver. You see the motion there, Ted, as he continues on. Now the linebacking core of Rice. They follow him and hesitate just a bit. And watch who's there. That's Chike Anabugu, just a hair late. And it's because of the influence of Jordan Addison, the All-American wide receiver. Lincoln Riley using him in a bunch of different ways. And he got Austin Jones his first touchdown as a Trojan.
So touchdown for Austin Jones, touchdown for Jordan Addison, who led the nation in receptions, touchdown receptions a year ago. But Taj Washington has had the big catches in both drives that flipped the field for USC. Good kick, excellent kick return for Rice. Ottaviano gets it out across the 35-yard line as we go back to our San Francisco studios for a check-in with Mark Willard.
Okay, guys, and it's brought to you by Taco Bell. Good day for Arizona today, and here is the capper. DJ Williams bounces it out to the outside from 10 yards out. He's in. They go up 18, and that is going to be the final score. Arizona pulls it off down at SDSU, 38-20. Ted, Yogi, back to you guys.
Boy, that's a resounding bear down, isn't it? What a terrific win given the opening of a new stadium in San Diego.
DJ Williams, another transfer from Florida State, running back.
Lost good. Defensive pursuit by the Trojans. Smothered Dean Connors.
I'd imagine Alex Grinch talked to this defense after that 16-play drive for about 8 minutes and said, look, we have to be more physical in the front 7.
There he is. Those roots go way back to New Hampshire. Chip Kelly, who always calls him Grinchy.
Yeah.
But what a job he did at Washington State. Whew. And Green rolls and another throw. I think we've also seen in a quarter plus McCaffrey has hands.
Yeah.
He holds the ball.
Yeah, this is an amazing catch. He feels pressure, and as he catches the ball with his hands, he extends. See the tuck? He'll tuck away from pressure, away from Jacoby Covey.
So 7 yards on that. It's going to leave Rice with a 3rd and 5. So here's where the defense for USC actually really need 4 yards here, where the USC defense can make its first stand.
Covington in at corner, rotating guys there, former Washington corner.
Tipped by Shane Lee, excuse me, incomplete, but a flag. That ball hit Shane Lee in the hands.
Pass interference. Defense, number 14. The ball we placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
All right, not 15 yards downfield, so spot foul placement, and there's T.J. McMahon, junior from Anaheim, who ended up playing a decent amount last year for their last game in a big win against Louisiana Tech.
And he's a threat with his legs. If they're feeling like USC's bringing some pressure, they might try to keep him on a keeper, try to keep him honest.
Not sure what this is about. Maybe a buzz stop from upstairs.
USC is challenging the previous play that the ball was tipped.
Wow. Well, of course, a tipped ball would eliminate pass interference. That's why this is an interesting thing, because I've wondered this for years. You get one challenge again, you rarely ever see college coaches use it. Rarely. So we'll find out whether Lincoln Riley is a good challenger.
And here's the play in reference. That's Jacoby Covington lined up. And you see him with the hold here, but they don't call hold, they call PI. And I think it's an interesting call in terms of the ball is tipped. There was contact, there was holding, I think, before him, but since they called pass interference, we didn't necessarily see that when the ball was hit by Shane Lee.
So the challenge is successful by Lincoln Riley, and the reason you do it is it brings up 4th down. And Rice has the punt team out. Connor Hunt is the punter. Jordan Addison deep for USC. Tough catch there. Then on the second try, Addison does get it. Well, a year that USC hopes maybe we can add someone to the Hall of Champions. Pac-12 football is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Jockey, the official apparel and comfort brand of the Pac-12 Conference. Look for Jockey's Made in America collection at jockey.com. And by Allegiant Airlines, non-stop life. Now, just a joy to be back. Ted Robinson, Yogi Roth, our entire team, Michael Molinari, Scott Barkey, Esquire, etc. Just wonderful to be back. Can you believe 11 of these? 11 years?
Flying.
Molinari still talks to me, which is astounding. 1st and 10, USC from their 30. Austin Jones the back. And there's the cross, Mario Williams. And I tell you, already, Yogi, you can see, and I'm looking at a receiver himself. A lot of defensive secondaries are going to have nightmares against these receivers.
Yeah, well, this is a beautiful job of Caleb Williams and his eyes.
Yeah.
He threw it right behind the ear hole of Andrew Awe, a linebacker. He just waited for Williams to get behind him, and whoop, that was easy.
Caleb pulls it back. And the whole left side open. Still spinning his way inside the 15. Flags are down. Flags are down near the end of the run. 33 yards for the moment.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 6. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The result of the play is a first down.
What would Yogi Roth's career have been if you couldn't have blocked in the back? You can't do this now, receivers.
No, you'll see right there.
It's running back.
Right in the middle of your screen, that's Austin Jones. Yeah, and those are the ones where you've got to just have the awareness to put your hands up, especially when the ball gets past you.
So it was a 33-yard run, but now it's punched back to 28 with the 5-yard mark off. So here we go from the 27 of Rice. Travis Dye now in the backfield. And that underneath ball to Taj Washington that's been effective in the first half. Takes it down to the 14. Red zone USC with a first down.
Ted, how many times do we say this? When you see pressure coming from this side, you throw where the pressure's coming from because it's got to be replaced. It's not there. It gets picked up by a block from Terrell Bynum in the secondary, and you get another big gain on an underneath crossing route from Taj Washington.
Speaking of waves, again, his wide receiver, number 0 at the bottom, Terrell Bynum, and transferred in from UW. He's just outside Mario Williams. And freshman Raleek Brown is in the backfield. There's the speed. There's the speed. He's going to get in. Can't touch him. He got outside Yogi, and you knew he was gone then.
Well, you can draw certain plays up. Josh Piercy, number 12, it's exactly how you got to play it on defense. But what you can't draw up is speed. That is all recruiting. That is all natural ability. And that is one of the fastest players in America, Raleek Brown, just saying, you give me an edge, I'm going to give you 6.
And throw the wide receiver love there. Nice block in the end zone by Kyron Hudson, making sure there was going to be no one to stop. Raleek Brown's first USC touchdown.
First time in the Coliseum. A little slip, but he gets up. Not afraid to give a little bit of a pose to the student section.
One of the enjoyable things, Yogi, about a preseason, you get to do it more often than most of us. You get around to just about everybody. So you come up, especially the new names that we want to remember.
Oh, David Bailey, true freshman. He's going to be a special elite pass rusher. Stanford needs that. Raleek Brown, we're seeing him on display. Tetairoa McMillan, they call him T-Mac. He had his first career touchdown today, and a huge win for Jed Fish. And I put Bernard Bell on there. He's a 7th-year player, recovering from a bunch of injuries. Excited to watch him later today.
All right, touchback coming here on the kickoff by the Trojans. And let's take another look at Raleek Brown's first touchdown. It's our principal financial worth a watch.
Well, it's played perfectly by the defense of Rice, but there's no perfect defense for that type of ability. And he just runs right by him. I mean, this is a different type of cat in terms of his speed on the edge, Ted. You saw it in recruiting. Now, that's going to be interesting. A little early for the Heisman pose, in my opinion, but he keeps developing here under Lincoln Riley. Look, Lincoln Riley sent a bunch of guys to New York City and Oklahoma, and who knows in another year or two if he could be one of those guys.
All right, so Rice back to work. Wiley Green returns as quarterback. Trying to run straight ahead, and man, that works. Wow, that works. Montgomery may go. Big play, caught from behind. Great pursuit by Kalen Bullock to save 6.
The This interior offensive line. Red Nutter is going to be the left guard. You'll see him inside. USC stems late, Ted, and then you see the pull from Shea Baker, the captain. That's a veteran group under Mike Bloomgren, and Montgomery, he's just seeing the end zone and just can't get there.
Yogi, that's a great call. You saw the very late step, and that's where they ran through.
That's a really well-coached offensive front.
Yes. 55 yards, Cameron Montgomery from Stafford, Texas. He's a fifth-year man. And again, the big grouping, the Bloomgren-Stanford experience showing here, and another toss and gain by Montgomery inside the 15.
So Ted, you've seen the last couple plays now, this toss, right, in this formation. It's hard on linebackers because you can't go immediately. You have to give it a beat. And what does that do? It allows the offensive lineman to climb to linebacker level. And all of a sudden, they can put their big body in front of Eric Gentry or this linebacking core of USC, and it's allowing Rice to find some creases.
Again, quick flip here for Rice to see if they can put this in the end zone. Short second down from the 13. Green looking through it, had his man inside the 5, but just behind Jack Bradley.
Well, Green should have kept it. Teddy had nothing in front of him. Nothing in front of him. It's man-to-man coverage, and when you come out of that as a quarterback in man-to-man coverage, you got to say, I might be able to steal a pump with my legs, especially the down and distance that we had.
No, we've already been conditioned in this game to be in that moment looking, okay, where's McCaffrey? He's not on the field right now. McCaffrey's been the man, 5 catches in this first half. Now we're going to get a timeout taken by Rice.
Timeout. Rice, their second timeout of the half.
Or the most obvious fact that Mike Bloomgren knows field goals aren't going to win the game.
No.
This is, I'm going to guess he's got 2 plays here.
Yeah. This is 4-down territory all day long.
Yeah.
And to your point, Luke McCaffrey's got to be involved. He's got to at least be on the field right now. These teams had success running the football. They love the big groupings, multiple tight ends. I'd imagine we'd see something like that again.
There's Mike Bloomgren in his run and Stanford.
Give it to the Rice timeout. Number 87 does not have to stay out for one play.
All right, so there's Bloomgren greeting Christian McCaffrey, who, when Mike Bloomgren talked about Luke to us, it sounded like he was talking about Christian. He goes, I don't think there's anything he can't do.
Yeah.
And he's on the football field.
And he told him that for the first time when Luke was 9 years old, visiting his brother on the farm for a game. And Luke McCaffrey said, look, I came to Rice because of my familiarity with Mike Bloomgren.
Yeah. Luke McCaffrey is standing, but he's on the sideline. He's not been out there during this series. And that could be significant here. Could be very significant. 3rd and 3. Again, the heavy set. 2 tights and a fullback. Broussard. No, that's another stop. Shane Lee. Second big one in this first half.
That was clinic-worthy play by linebacker Shane Lee. Because it was schemed up well. The blockers were there, the fullback was rolling, and he just scraped right past that offensive line and drove on the ball carrier.
All right, so 4th down, as we suspect there's no thought of a field goal, and Luke McCaffrey does run out now into the huddle. Again, in a lot of cases, you'd say take points here, but if you're in the right shoes, you understand. Field goals don't beat touchdowns.
And if I'm SC, you got to take him away. Know where number 10 is. He's going to be in the slot right there. He goes to the top of the screen.
Play action. McCaffrey's there. Off his hand and picked. Bullock. He may go. A foot race for Kalen Bullock. And this will be pick 6. 92 yards. With possible damage to the
hasn't been rocking in a while. And on that pick six, you can feel it up here.
And you saw the end, Wiley Green, we can't really tell yet, was it a block after the interception or an effort, but he appeared to have a good whack to the right side, right shoulder. There he is. Officially 93 yards, Kalen Bullock, second-year player from Pasadena. He did this in the first game last year, Yo. We were here when the Trojans beat San Jose State. He stepped right in as a freshman. He's bulked up a little bit for year 2.
Green is looking like he fell a little bit, fell awkwardly on his arm.
This is a long-running football decision when you're a quarterback and you throw a pick. Do you try to make yourself a tackler? Because this could happen.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, that hurts more than you think when you got a guy like Kalen Bullock running full speed through an arm tackle. That right arm just gets whipped back.
Yeah. Gosh, my childhood was damaged severely because I was a huge Joe Namath fan, and Joe Namath threw an interception in an exhibition game to a Detroit linebacker, and he tried to tackle him and blew his knee out. And it was the first of many knees that hurt Joe's career. But that was the lesson he learned. Just let him score. It's a preseason game, especially. Let him score.
Yeah, often you teach the quarterback, just take the highest angle, make him come back to hopefully some of your teammates. Hope he's all right.
Well, the decision by Rice, and again, it's totally understandable to go on 4th down, but man, what a, you talk about a double cathud. Not only do you not get it, but they score.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to go with TJ McMahon on this drive too. Rice had to feel confident. They moved the ball with incredible efficiency throughout the early portion of this game here into the second quarter. And it is important to note that TJ McMahon, they said it was neck and neck at the end of camp. They said it was a handful of plays, which is why they went with Wiley Green. So they feel extremely confident in not just the legs and athleticism from TJ McMahon, but the way he can operate this offense.
McCaffrey motions. Give on the inside. Run gets about 4. Now Rice will hope when they get into their conference, they are one more year in Conference USA. They do need to score a little bit more. They were 107 in FBS last year in points per game. And that's why they were excited to get Green back for an extra year, who already has a degree at Rice. I didn't realize how small Rice is, only 4,000 undergraduates. Montgomery on the pitch, gets outside, and it was fascinating to hear Mike Bloomgren, which you would expect given his run at Stanford, now the head coach at Rice, and he talked about usual suspects: Vanderbilt, Northwestern, Stanford, Duke, Rice. You know, that's the pool you recruit from. Unfortunately, especially Vanderbilt and Northwestern, their budgets are going to be a little higher these days. But that is a good thing for Rice. Next year, there will be 6 schools going into the American next year, including Rice, and their budget will multiply dramatically. And McMahon, they're jumped just past Shane Lee, and that gets him close to the first down. And it looks like he got it at the 35.
He's a different type of athlete than Wiley Green. Saw him just climb the pocket, felt the pressure. And SC, they're rolling players on the defensive front. Corey Foreman comes out, in comes Romello Height. We've seen a litany of players play on this defensive front, trying to just deal with the heat. Almost 100 degrees, almost 95 degrees right now here at the Coliseum. But also be fresh coming off the edge.
Last time I checked, it was 98, just as long as you mentioned it. Montgomery trying to get outside. Nope. And there's Lee again with a late flag. Gentry also in there, but it's interesting. Lee and Gentry playing those inside backers. We've seen more of Lee on plays so far.
He plays downhill. He plays so instinctively.
Illegal use of hands. Offense, number 52. 15-yard penalty. Replay first down. Because of the foul, the SC player may remain in the game.
Left guard Braden Nutter, Tomball, Texas on that call. But it's interesting, Lee coming in as the more experienced transfer, Gentry only 1 year, but Gentry was a freshman All-American last year at Arizona State. And I was just sold. There's Shane Lee, who's more normal build for a linebacker. Gentry's 6'6", and I saw him last year with you, and I said to myself, that's a young Alden Smith. The build, the arm length is extreme, and he's playing in this unorthodox position. I have to say it for a 6'6" guy. There he's involved in the tackle, Gentry.
Yeah, I thought he'd end up playing on the edge in his career. But when you talk to Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator, about him playing linebacker, he said, man, he's just got some freakish strength. Like, guys aren't getting to his legs. He uses that length. He fills in the run game. And I think what's great for him is the guy he's next to is Shane Lee. I mean, any player in this program, offense, defense, staff, they say, look, Shane Lee has brought a consistency to everything. And Shane said that's what he brought with him from Alabama.
You think Saban demands that?
Yeah.
Second down long here for Rice. TJ McMahon continuing, and there came the pressure from the outside and got him. Latrell McCutcheon for USC.
Rotates in a nickel. He'll be at the top of your screen. And just unblocked. Transfer from Oklahoma. Came over here with Alex Grinch, Lincoln Riley and company. He's excited, man.
So it's third and a mile now.
I want to see Corey Foreman here. He's at the top of your screen. This is the five-star edge rusher.
So do the USC fans.
Yeah.
Oh, nice setup on the screen. Broussard's going to get some yardage here. Now, not enough to get a first down, but at least enough to try to save some field position for Rice.
I'll tell you what, Mello Height came off the other edge. Seam number 2 barely touched.
Another SEC player, Romello Height, coming in from Auburn. Got to be careful again how you hit.
Yeah.
How you hit the quarterback. Yep.
Yeah, I think they're going to.
Yeah, may take a look at that.
The previous play is under further review for possible targeting.
This might be targeting right here, Ted.
Well, this is the kind of targeting call we saw a fair bit last year. I mean, how you hit the quarterback.
And when you watch this one, I think it was Clay Servin, the left tackle, kind of pushed him in the back, almost into the quarterback. Here it comes off the bottom of your screen. See how it gets pushed there? And then that, to me, is the crown of the helmet.
And right into the face mask of the quarterback. I would agree with you. That's why. And that's just, we see this happen a lot in the targeting era. That's why I pointed out in the first quarter when Nick Figueroa took down the quarterback, how wide, how smartly he did it. He did the exact way you're supposed to do it today. That's kind of the how not to do it.
Yeah. And this is a position for USC on defense where they're thin. Romello Height, a little banged up in training camp. Corey Foreman did play all of training camp. Get another look at it right there with the helmet. They kicked out to that side. Tuli Tuipulotu as a rush end. Julian Simons played that spot, so not a ton of depth there.
Also, just to be, I mean, this is still the first half, so if it is targeting, he would only miss the rest of this game, and that's because remember, next week, USC and Stanford have their annual Week 2 game, which is all because of Notre Dame. Keep reminding people it's the reason it happens. Both schools play Notre Dame the final weekend of the year, alternate years. So they play each other early conference game. It's at Stanford next week. But USC first conference game in this era? Want to have their team ready.
Yeah. And they're going to need him because I think that Stanford offense is going to impress some people around the country with the weapons they have.
So Jim Worry, our referee today. Healthy conversation here. One other thing, since we're in the replay mode here, Yogi, we had a challenge earlier in the half by Lincoln Riley that worked. I've seen the challenge used so rarely years in college football that I had asked the question, you do get a challenge back.
Yeah.
Because he was successful, Riley has another challenge. And why I'm saying this, I'm wondering if it's going to be more frequent this year if fewer stoppages happen to record or for review. We felt like the last 5 years.
After review, personal foul, targeting, defense, number 2. That 15-yard penalty we added to the end of the run, automatic first down. Number 2 is disqualified for the remainder of the game.
And just to be really clear on this, you need an indicator, right? And Ted, the indicator of why that was confirmed targeting was leading with the helmet to attack with forcible contact to the head or neck area. That's the indicator.
I think that was pretty textbook, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Romello Hyde will be out the rest of this game. The other good thing that's happened is the walk of shame has been eliminated. He can stay on the sideline. And Rice has a first down in USC territory. Boy, nice gap on the outside again. Well, Montgomery's.
Number 47 for USC must leave for one play.
Montgomery's made some. He's made some gains. That's 31 yards. He's having a heck of a half. Had a 55-yarder earlier. Okay. You can read Ritchie's mind, can't you?
Yeah. Well, the number one word he said to us so many times yesterday was adversity. I can't wait. He was really intrigued to see what his team would do when they met adversity.
Again, McMahon to Montgomery, runs it down to the 12, maybe close to the 11.
When Rice can stay ahead of the sticks, meaning don't hurt yourself with penalties like we saw on the previous drive, this offensive line, they've played a lot of football. The returning starters pretty much across the board, other than right tackle, who they think has the highest ceiling, in Ethan Oniawa. So they were confident coming into this game running the ball, and now I think they'll continue to run at the edges because they know that SC doesn't have a ton of depth there as we look at Corey Foreman, number 0 at the bottom of the screen.
And the big lineup in for Rice. And they run, and there's Dean Connors getting it down close.
Ted, watch this offensive line. Watch the left side. I mean, this is physicality right here. From the tight ends, boom, boom. How about a little pull from Shea Baker? And that's why he got the job, right? That's why Mike Bloomgren was hired for this style of football.
Say it again, Yogi. Intellectual brutality, right? Which Bloomgren has trademarked, by the way, and is allowing it on loan back to David Shaw.
Yeah. I'd run it again.
All right, 3 tight ends. Man, that's something. That's a touchdown for Broussard, his second of the half, and that was pretty much it right at you. Once they got down to the red zone, we're just going to line up and run at you. Stop us.
Well, look, they call it God's play, right? That old power. You see that right guard again. Shea Baker, he's the player of the game right now for me, for Rice. On offense, he has done a heck of a job against this defensive front.
So that targeting foul setting up Rice on the drive, and then to their credit, man, they finished, and they did it on the ground. 10 plays, 75 yards, 28-14.
Mark Willard in our Pac-12 studios in San Francisco with this Taco Bell update. Good start for Utah. Nice little ablet here for Cameron Rising to Brant Keithy. And from 7 yards out, he works his way in. And about halfway through the first quarter, it's a 7-0 lead for Utah in Florida. Ted, Yogi, let's get it back to you guys.
All right, Mark. Well, that would be a very big win for the conference cred if Utah could do that. Didn't work out too well for the Ducks today, so let's leave more on the Utes to see if they can win in the Swamp.
Yeah, huge task for them, but I think it's a natural next step for them to go win that type of game.
All right, so here's Rice to kick it, and Rice is back. Brendan. And he'll let that one sail for the touchback, so well, Rice ran a 10-play touchdown drive, 9 of them on the ground, Yogi.
Yeah, intellectual brutality. They want to be physical from the onset. 5 years ago when Mike Bloomer got the job, and today they've been that way. Pulling guards, pulling offensive linemen, having a fullback, just having an intent to get to the end zone, to fall forward. This offensive line has done a nice job, and now USC's defensive front is depleted for the remainder of the game with a loss of Romello Height due to that targeting penalty.
So Caleb Williams back to work with time here. Travis Dye the back. Gonna swing it out to Dye. Rice ran a little in route there that tried to clear that side. Caleb Williams is 10 of 11 passing in the half.
Yeah, and this is a huge moment here for Rice, right? 1:29 left in the half. Mike Bloomberg told us this week the middle eight was going to be the most critical part of this game, meaning the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, first 4 of the third. He thought USC, if they won the toss, would take the ball. Now, can he try to steal a possession? He's got to hold SC out of the end zone here in the last 1:29.
4 rush for Rice, but Williams has all day. And then comes underneath the Dye, but a good tackle, not allowing much after the catch.
How about
Chris Conte?
Take Caleb Williams. Just, okay, you want to bring heat? I'll sit back here.
He throws that away, and there's the flag. That may not be a good one for the USC drive hopes.
Holding, offense number 72, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
First holding flag against USC. Coming up, we'll have the Bear halftime report from our studios. Ashley Adamson, Nigel Burton, and Michael Bumpus. A little Yogi sit down with Caleb Williams. The story of Dan Lanning's trip back to Georgia. And
The clock
UCLA.
will start on my whistle.
UCLA overcame a slow start at the Rose Bowl to win.
Yeah, look, I'll say regarding the sit down with Caleb Williams, I think he's going to be the blueprint in terms of how to manage
The
expectations.
result of the play was an incomplete pass. The clock will start on the snap.
Hype, development at the position. So impressed by this young man. His 8th start of his life at quarterback today.
So 1st and 20. Addison trying to break. Addison gets it out to close to the 40, and then a flag at the end of the play. And let's see if that's going to be a bailout for USC. They got the penalty yardage back on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 26, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So tough call against Rice, and that will give USC a first down out of the 1st and 20.
Jordan Addison, man, he's fun to watch play. Ted. He came from one side of the field to the other. He's getting banged up by defensive linemen, worked out the back door. Penalty. Had some extra yards here. Now SC is in business.
Austin Jones clears out very to the bottom, so it's an empty backfield on first down at the Rice 45. Only 3 rush. And Williams buys time to find Jones. Austin Jones inside the Rice 25.
Watch Jordan Addison right there, 3. See him get pushed? This is the face mask play a couple snaps ago. He just finds a way. He's calm. He understands how to navigate pressure. You saw it last year on film at Pitt. You're seeing it today.
Pitt, I've heard of that. Did he wear your number?
No, he's
well, they retired that. I forgot.
Yeah.
First down, 24 Rice. Again, empty. Williams just flat-footed, bouncing up and down. Then he hits Hudson, but Hudson can't get away. Good finish tackle there for Rice, and Hudson does not get a first down. USC takes a timeout. Nanak Bogu made a nice tackle for Rice.
All right, so Ted, we went back and watched all of Caleb Williams' plays at his previous school. And to me, there's kind of an evaluation of him. He's still got some room for mastery at this position. Number one, tying his feet to his eyes. You've seen it multiple times today. On that previous play was amazing. Seeing the entire defense. Young quarterbacks, they struggle looking to their left if they're righty. That weak side of the defense, man, he's been impressive today. And then this is what we'll see as the year goes on. Can he manage the magnitude of being here? You sign at SC at quarterback, you're a household name. You start, you're a Heisman candidate. Here's the example of tying his feet to his eyes. Watch him look. He goes left, right. You see his feet and his head. They're working together. And when you can do that, you can be extremely efficient as a passer. He's been so accurate today, and I think it's because he's really had a focus with Lincoln Riley this offseason to dial in those little things regarding his mechanics.
USC in this first half has run 25 plays, and they have 28 points. Admittedly, 7 on the pick six. Still amazing. They're averaging 11 yards a play. Improv time. And nothing good's going to end up coming out of that. Dump off to Raleek Brown. At least Brown got out of bounds.
And the challenge here is going to be full-on clock management right now from Caleb Williams. And what is Lincoln Riley going to do? Because if I'm Rice, I am not going to just play man-to-man coverage against Jordan Addison at the bottom of the screen.
Exactly
I needed 2 safeties. I need 2 high safeties. So you're inviting SC to run the ball. What do they decide to do? How do they want to utilize the clock here with their timeout?
Yeah, one timeout, or excuse me, 2 timeouts remaining, so you see. And Rice is going to take one. Their last.
Timeout Rice. Their third and final of the half.
Don't Rice won't need that again. All right, story time, Yogi.
Yeah, well, look, I think the biggest one is quarterbacks are back in the pack. Cam Rising doing his thing in the swamp right now. How about these guys and what they've already done today or will do later? I look at all these players and I look at the top 6 quarterbacks in our league, and I'd put them up against any other Power 5 league's top 6 quarterbacks. And within it, we don't have Michael Penix.
Please reset the scoreboard to show USC has 2.
See Chance Nolan's got a huge opportunity tonight against Boise State.
We'll see Tanner McKee and Stanford coming up shortly on Pac-12 Network. Some of you will see it against Colgate. And then tonight, our man J.B. Long checked in this morning from Pullman. He said Cougar Gold is in full bloom, and it'll be there. And I mean, look, to watch Cameron Ward play for the first time, that'll be on Pac-12 Network tonight against Idaho. That's going to be high fascination.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Third down for USC. Austin Jones leaks out. Pass is going to be complete inside the 10. So it'll be a first and goal. Lake McCree on the catch. And Caleb Williams stops the clock at 13 seconds.
The biggest question mark that Lincoln Riley had on offense as of yesterday was the tight ends. He didn't know what he was going to see. Lake McCree, Malcolm Epps, both lined up next to each other. Caleb Williams didn't look anywhere else other than that side of the field of those 2 players.
And USC not have to use a timeout, so they could run the ball. I mean, that's the option they have here with 2 timeouts, 13 seconds. Caleb Williams 16 of 17, 206 in the first half. Addison, yep. And Addison's alone in the bottom, short side of the field. Threw it away. Addison was trying to separate again from Sean Fresh.
That was a nice job from Sean Fresh. He was not only just physical at the line of scrimmage, but he also just stayed on top of the receiver, stayed on top of Jordan Addison, didn't let him get past him. It impacted the type of throw from Caleb Williams.
And Addison ended up out of bounds anyway, so the play would have been negated. Third down here. USC wants to talk about it. Would assume they will take points here if they don't score in this play, would you think?
Yeah.
Take points?
I would.
So here's what we're referencing coming up. Bay Area, Pac-12 Bay Area. At Pac-12 now we'll have the Stanford game and the network with Pullman. And our partners will be in Corvallis and Seattle tonight. Caleb DeBoer, first game for the Huskies. And we have to say something. Our great friend and one of my original Pac-12 network partner, Glenn Parker, was smiling already today because Arizona won. Glenn is going to be smiling. He'll be a proud dad. His son is starting tight end for Colgate. So Glenn, I'm sure Glenn has 50-yard line seats tonight at Stanford Stadium.
Knowing Glenn Parker, he woke up, surfed in San Diego, went to the game, hopped on in a little PJ right up to the Bay Area for that one tonight.
That's the way Parker rolls.
Okay, the tight ends, again, same formation, bottom of the screen.
Austin Jones, the back, alongside Caleb Williams. Addison slot to the top. Williams has to get, well, may run out of time here. And not caught in bounds, and there's 1 second left. Wow, you cut that close. Mario Williams tried to make the back shoulder juggle catch. The problem was Caleb Williams almost ran out the half. Whew. Yeah. Just enough time for the field goal.
Tell you what, he put a bunch of juice on that ball, and that had a chance to be looked at a few times if he caught it, if that foot was in the end zone, Ted.
So Dennis Lynch will try to kick his first USC field goal. And the 25-yarder is good to end the half. So the Trojans do score. They get 3 after 3 offensive touchdowns and a defensive score in the first half.
It's been a fun game to call. It's been back and forth. SC explosive on offense. Rice hasn't backed down. It's going to be a fun second half, Ted.
Well, we saw enough in 30 minutes to get it. Yeah, USC's offense does come to you in waves. 31 in the first half. And we've got 30 more minutes to come here. But right now, Ashley Adamson with the Bear halftime report. Everything new at USC football. Lots of new faces. The offensive mind of Lincoln Riley on in full display.
I loved it. I loved watching this offense. Right? How about this? Early on, first drive, Taj Washington. We knew it would be up-tempo. We knew a lot of the new faces. We forgot a guy who transferred in a year ago, right? Taj Washington. I love the play. I love the read. And then the defense, Kalen Bullock, dropped by McCaffrey, and freshman All-American. This guy's taking his game to another level. And Ted, we hadn't heard the collie sound this loud in quite some time. And then the freshman, Malik Brown, 5-star recruit, just gifted speed, and a little bit of celebration for him in front of that student section.
Yeah. So 2 sides to the half. Most of the half, USC was averaging over 10 yards of play. Rice, though, had over 200 yards of offense.
Yeah, well, look, Rice moved the ball, right? If you're Mike Bloomgren, you're in that locker room saying, hey, guys, let's just not hurt ourselves. Run game is nice. But for USC on the flip side, it's going to be fun to watch them because it wasn't perfect, but they got 31 points.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a team that struggled, of course, a year ago.
All right. What do you think Lincoln Riley's first halftime next Eva team talk was about?
Well, I think it's, look, we all were so anticipatory when it came to this game. There was so much talk about it. They just wanted to play. He said that earlier this week. He's like, I just want to get to the game. Now they got a half under their belt. Now they got to come back to the standard. Right? They can't hurt themselves with penalties. I think they could be a little bit more efficient defensively. They just got to keep playing hard, right? This is a new system on both sides of the ball. So he's telling his guys, first half, It's underneath. It's gone. Let's move out. Let's play really clean football here.
And of course, Lincoln Riley always knows this. When you need to talk with your team, always use Nextiva. So, again, the first half report card seems to be pretty brilliant about the Lincoln Riley offense. What we talked about at the very outset, USC knows. You know, there's very little reference to last year. There shouldn't really be. But the bluntness, their defense just wasn't very good. It needs to. They had a little back Montgomery here for Rice, ends up with 99 yards in the first half.
Yeah, well, look, for the last 5 years, USC has given up over 150 rushing yards per game, and that is not good. They only did that one time since 2001, and they gave up a record number of points last year on defense. So they knew they had to fill some holes. They added some players like Shane Lee. We've talked about him, Eric Gentry at linebacker, added Mekhi Blackman in the secondary, but it's not like you can just add new players and you're a totally different team. And defense, I really think it's a feel thing as the season goes on. So we'll see them on the defensive front. I'd imagine they got challenged by Alex Grinch to stop the run. You know what Rice is going to do with the movement and the pulling on the offensive line. Let's see, it'll be fun to watch how physical they can be at the point of attack.
USC has a new place kicker. Dennis Lynch won the battle. Alex Stathouse is back, is doing the kickoff chores he does here, and Monteviano lets it sail beyond for the touchback. Caleb Williams, most of the first half, just one incompletion. Ended up with 3.
He was really impressive. There's so much talk around him, so much hype around him for what he did last year in his 7 starts at Oklahoma, everything that's gone on off the field, LA, NIL. But he's a baller, Ted. He's about ball. And talking to Lincoln Riley yesterday about him, I said, how do you manage all of the things that go on in LA around your quarterback? And he said, look, Caleb manages it. He understands that when it's football time, let's lock in and go do that. In the offseason, he had time for all the other stuff. And his performance in the first half only echoed the statements of his head coach.
Well, second half starts for Rice with T.J. McMahon continuing at quarterback. Go with the 2-back set. Short gain. Run by Ari Broussard. To a C.V. Nomorian on that play for USC, but you had a feel for Wiley Green. Clearly injured his throwing arm or shoulder, attempting to make a tackle on what was a pick 6. And after missing most of last year with an injury, being almost surprised by it, receiving another year to play, wins the starting job and doesn't finish the first half.
Yeah, that's unfortunately been the story as he referenced of his career.
Quick throw out to Isaiah Esdale. Watch Green's right arm. Boom. As Bullock took that ball back 93 yards for a score, Green was being helped off. And clearly, his right arm, shoulder, somewhere in that area was banged pretty well. Don't see Green on the sideline, at least in Jersey, so assume that injury's taking him out. Another tip, Shane Lee, foot race, and Shane Lee is in, pick 6, the second time for USC.
First drive of the third quarter is always a tempo setter for either side of the ball. For Rice, it's another drop. For SC, it's a ricochet catch, pick 6. And how about the effort of the transfer from Alabama? Welcome to the Pac-12, man.
And a valiant effort by McMahon, the quarterback, Anaheim native himself, to make that play. But Shane Lee making his USC debut a loud one. Fair number of tackles, and now defensive dream, the pick 6.
Sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time. It's the catch, it's the sprint, and then it's end zone. It's right there. Let me fall in. Touchdown, Trojans.
Welcome to college football 2022. That just outlines everything you need to know. Although the biggest thing, we just never used to see transfers within a conference. And that's all bets are off now.
Yeah, it's going to be the norm, and it's going to make conference games really exciting. And for Shane Lee, we had a chance to talk to him this week. He was named a captain, and we asked him, hey, what's it like to be named a captain? He said, you know what, it was really hard for me at Alabama. I had so much success early, but I learned a lot that I just had to continuously pursue my dream. And he did that. He never stopped believing in himself. And how about that, a little payback there on that touchdown.
Shane Lee is from just outside of Baltimore, Montgomery County. Our 76 fueled moment. Kalen Bullock in the first half. This is the play that really flipped the game.
Yeah, Kalen Bullock's always found a way to be around the ball. Ball thrown a little bit behind the receiver, 93 yards for a touchdown. And then here, Shane Lee, ball again just a hair behind the receiver. Shane Lee drops to the perfect spot. 40 yards later, he got his first touchdown as a Trojan. 2 in the game for that defense.
And that late shifting by the defensive front bobbles up Connors for short game. Here's what we have to say about Shane Lee, though. He says he's from Montgomery County. His dad's a policeman. He's got a chance to ride some squad car rides with his dad. He has never seen The Wire. Yeah. Shane, come on. You need to. You're killing me. The greatest show in the history of television. Set in Baltimore. So that's his assignment.
Yeah, that's the assignment.
You've got to watch The Wire.
What I love about him the most, I think, is that his teammates were like, he set a standard, and I saw it every day. And he said he saw that from his father.
Whoa, nicely job there. And that's a very good play by Blackman on the edge blitz. And then a good play. Watch McMahon here. He does a smart thing as well.
Yeah, Blackman on the corner blitz from the boundary. And quarterbacks are always taught, if that ball is up, just knock it down as quickly as he can. Go play volleyball, spike it into the ground.
We've seen a few through the years that have tried to catch it and throw it again. Nick Foles.
All right, so right here, Ted, on this third down, I want to see number 0, Corey Foreman, bottom of the screen. They need to have an edge rusher if they want to truly compete in this league.
Well, boy, he came around untouched. And McMahon throws another pick. The third of the game. Raylan Goforth. Come on, Grinchy has to be smiling now.
Wow. Well, in Southern California, it doesn't rain very often, but on the field, when it rains, it pours. First the pressure from Foreman, then the pressure from Figueroa, and then the pick 6 from Goforth. Man, this defense, like, they did not like what happened a year ago, and I doubt they liked what happened in the first half. They've made quite a statement on the first 2 drives.
First career pick for Raylan Goforth from St. John Bosco. 31 yards for 6.
Pick 6. Pick 6. How about a third time? Another pick 6. Everybody in the Trojan defense getting involved. Raylan Goforth getting escorted to the end zone. And his offensive coach is head coach Lincoln Riley. He loves defense too. 45-14.
Our Pac-12 kickoff week presented by Taco Bell. About midway through this opening Saturday with more to come. Action from Stanford and from Pullman on Pac-12 Network. First time ever for 3 pick 6s in a game by USC.
You know, I think when Lincoln Riley was hired, there was a lot of talk. There's going to be a bunch of first-time records broken on offense.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sure if we thought in week 1, Alex Grinch in that defense would be the one setting the record.
Last time it happened in a game in top-tier Division I, so to speak, ASU, 14 years ago against UCLA.
Bring back that film.
That takes a big hop in the field of play. Ottaviano. That's bad. Once that ball takes a big hop in the air, the cover team is all over it. So he just to the 15-yard line is all. Let's check in once again with an update. Mark Willard.
All right, guys, and it's brought to you by Taco Bell. Tell me if this reminds you of a certain Pro Football Hall of Famer. This would be Emmitt Smith's son, E.J. Smith. He finds a hole, had 133 yards all last year. Already has 87 this year. First play from scrimmage, in Stanford now leads Colgate 7-0. You can see that game on Pac-12 Now and Pac-12 Bay Area. Ted, Yogi, back to you guys.
All right, Mark, that's a nice start. They're counting, Stanford counting a lot on E.J. Smith this year. After a couple of our running backs transferred out, right now we have a potentially significant injury to a Rice player. That's seeing enough movement of limbs is the first thing everybody looks for in these moments. But that's going to be take a while here while they attend to the fall. Yeah, the young man from Santa Ana, Bowden Gruen, tight end for Rice, is the injured player.
You'll see him make a block and then just fall.
And that is the best possible sign for freshmen at Modern Day High School. Saddleback College. Going to get a lift off the field.
Great to see him moving, to your point, Ted.
I don't know how much longer, how many more. I mean, thankfully this doesn't appear to be as serious as it could be, but I don't know how much longer before kickoffs are out. It's just continues to be by far the, I mean, all these rule changes are helping, but it's still the #1 injury play in the sport by far. Funny thing now is I saw this a lot even in the NFL. Kickers are all, their legs are so strong. I think kick every ball out of the end zone if they want to, but it's a tactical play to kick it short in the field of play and try to pin teams in worse field position.
Yeah, I've seen Utah have unique strategies around that in this league over the last couple of years.
Exactly. All right, well, now after that, Rice gets back to work here. Early third quarter, but T.J. McMahon going to give it to Connors. Good run off the right side for Dean Connors. Gets a first down. A little stunned up certainly would be Rice. You talked about the what's called the middle eight, last 4 first half, first 4 second half. That didn't work out too well because of the trifecta of pick sixes now.
No, and I think when Rice will go back and look at this game, like they've done some really impressive things, moving the ball, but whether it's drops, unforced errors, they've hurt themselves, and in a game against a team of this caliber in SC, you got to play flawless in that regard.
Now USC just teeing off with the rush. And another sack. Solomon Tuliaupupu.
I'll tell you what, his journey has been fascinating. He was one of the biggest recruits in the country when he came here from Modern Day years ago. He was freaky. He could do everything. He was going to be the next great one at linebacker, Ted. He's gone through so many injuries. How many spring balls have we been here? And it's like, hey, I can't wait to watch Solo is what they call him. Can't wait to watch Solo. Can't wait to watch Solo. I didn't know if he'd even play this year, but he's chosen to come back. He's finally healthy. He's got a fresh start with his staff, and he's playing the edge rush position.
Well, USC's defensive front now is just playing in a higher gear. They are just teeing off. Rosner not able to handle the ball.
You know, in this defense, they need some confidence. You know, just heading into the stretch of games that they'll have after this, starting with Stanford next week. And I love the way that this game started, right? they met adversity. Eric Gentry and company, Tuli Tuipulotu, that was a big theme this week. They knew they were going to meet it. How would they respond? Well, the first few drives of this half have been impressive.
Well, Rice needs 14. Wow, another one. At least it's not run back, but a deflected ball in the air and caught for the interception by Zamarian Gordon.
I mean, it just seems like those drops are contagious. Rosner again, and oftentimes on defense, you got to run to the ball. Run to the ball, good things are going to happen. That's happened to this USC defense.
All right, receiver. Is that ball too high? Does that need to come down a little bit, or if you get your hands on it, should you catch it?
I think all of the interceptions that have been tipped should have been caught.
Okay.
They should have been caught. I mean, it's not easy, but
yeah.
you're playing USC. It's a huge stage for you guys at Rice. And again, I mean, hits them square in the hands.
Yeah. Just because I was going to say, Rice has shown they can run it today for their receivers. McCaffrey had a good stretch in the first half. Otherwise, although one of the picks was off his hands, but the receivers have not helped a lot. And so USC now poised to just blast this game open at the Rice 34. And Williams will take the safe way and get out of bounds with a first at the 22.
One thing that is interesting on the drops, for Bradley Rosner, he missed everything but 2 quarters last year. Luke McCaffrey, this is the first time really playing wide receiver. So I think there's something to, you're in a game and it's just different when you're playing at the game speed. And we've seen uncharacteristic drops, I'm sure, when you talk to their staff. They say they make those plays all day in practice. But on this stage, unfortunately for Rice, they've had a couple critical drops.
Oh, and they finally do get Williams. Caleb felt that coming again, trying to get out, but tracked down from behind. That's Ikenna and Achukwu. Really highly regarded player for Rice. It's the first time we called his name today. From Kansas City.
We went around talking to Mike Bloomgren, said, hey, who's a Pac-12 level player? That's the first name that he said.
Well, there's a sack for a loss of 3. Boy, just again off the pull, the ball and straight to Addison. First and goal at the 3.
Jordan Addison, man. When you could play wide receiver and you don't have to change speeds, you can run through the route. That's the phrase. He's a top-level speed, and he puts his right foot in the ground on the post and doesn't have to burst out of there because he's already bursting in his route. That is so hard as a DB when somebody with that speed can be that instinctive.
So back to the red zone for the Trojans. Dye and Jones are the running backs. They're going to swing it to Addison. And he has his second touchdown of the day. Defensive guys are over there saying, it's about time you offensive guys score. 2 touchdowns for Addison, who just lit up the country playing for Pitt last year.
And we saw it the very first play of the game. Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison. We saw it on the post route in the red zone, and then a little bit of motion, and one of the most fluid, sudden receivers. Proved to be pretty strong right here through 2 defenders for another touchdown.
The portal is a new way and a different way to construct a roster, and there's certainly some obvious advantages there, but there's still, everybody thinks the whole part of like rebuilding the program is get good players. That's obviously part of it, but there's a lot more to it that there's no fast forward button on. I mean, you know, getting the right staff, the right culture, doing things facility-wise. I mean, every part of it matters. And so I'm glad we've been able to take advantage of the portal, but we've still got a lot of work to do there and in other areas.
Okay, touchback coming here. I'm listening to him saying that's part coach speak and part true. I mean, the part about the culture and the right things, all of that. But at some point you see, like Lincoln Riley has this fabulous scheme. You can see it. But you have to have, in this case, top-tier players to execute that scheme.
Yeah, look, he's got absolute horses, right? I mean, you look at Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison, Marley Williams, up and down the roster. But what I love about it is that in the sport that is the complete and total team game, it's become a little individualized when you look at everything that's gone on, whether it's the portal or NIL. And what he's done, and his job is to be the orchestrator of guys coming together. And he talked about that from day one of saying, hey, we can't ride like individuals here. We've got to make sure that we trust. And as Shane Lee told us this week, Ted, he said, we have to blindly trust. And that has been the challenge. And he said, everybody's been in.
Timeout taken by USC. Well, welcome to what professional sports is all about and what professional coaches have to deal with, which is keeping teams in check, keeping teams together, rather keeping individual agendas in check. That's now here. This is the real world. This is it.
Yeah, it's what I love about it too is that Lincoln's got such a demeanor about him where he encourages guys to be themselves, but within the confines of the system. And when you look at Caleb Williams or Jordan Addison, or even, you know, their linebacker Shane Lee, I mean, they do exactly that. Like, nobody's necessarily out of bounds. Like, they buy in and understand that if we play well here at SC, in LA, everything we want individually is going to come. It's going to continue to just come and come and come.
All right, so once again, Wiley Green, who started the game at quarterback for Rice, has not played since the second quarter. Kalen Bullock's interception return for a touchdown. Green injured, right arm, shoulder, somewhere in that area. Pass there to Isaiah Esdale, who's, well, Rice has transfers of their own. Esdale from West Virginia. Rice again. Rice has run the ball really well. All right today. The difficulties have been in the pass game, especially McCaffrey has not been a factor since the first quarter. McCaffrey there was lined up at the very bottom of the lineup, being press guarded by Mekhi Blackman.
I think what's been interesting to watch for USC defensively, Ted, is since those early drives, you've seen other players been rolling in the secondary. Right? You saw Latrell McCutcheon come in and play the nickel. He didn't start the game at the nickel. We've seen at corner Jacoby Covington come in, number 14 at the top of the screen, not just always Sierra Wright. So SC's still trying to figure out who their top 11 are. Maybe they got a bunch of bodies to roll through.
Quick toss to tight end Jack Bradley. Got him short of the first down. They'll need 5 yards here on the third down play, Will Rice. Been a while for Rice. Last Power 5 team they beat, 2015 against Kansas. Well, not gonna work. Dejon Benton right there for McMahon.
He's impressive inside. You see him 79. Watch his hands right off the bat, Ted. Just sheds the offensive lineman, gets into the backfield. Alex Grin said his body type at 6'2", 270 was built for this style of defense. Yeah. He's athletic, quick twitch, much like some of those guys we remember back at Washington State, where there's a lot of movement and action up front.
Gary Bryant back for USC. That's a position, I think, to me, that's the position I'm going to watch most this year for USC.
This has been a big story, Ted. Coming out west, you look at all the talent. Jacob Cowing was on display. Jack Plummer, we saw Emory Jones on Thursday night. Jake Bobo earlier today. Mario Williams this afternoon. But a lot of talent in this new era of college football coming out to the West Coast. Including right there out of Washington, D.C. area. Took a little pit stop in the Midwest. Found his way out to L.A. Caleb Williams.
All right, we're just past the halfway point of quarter 3. Williams back on the field. Malik Brown swinging up, and Williams tucks. And that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
What did Herb Edwards tell us that about a few years ago?
Get down.
Get what you can.
Yeah,
And then get out. Williams has done that a few times today.
Yeah, he hasn't taken a hit, you know, for the most part. Even when the pocket collapsed twice throughout the game so far, he's kind of just fallen down. He knows what the reality is. He's got great awareness, I think, great feel for pressure.
Malik Brown, who's scored his first Trojan touchdown today, is the back alongside. Four wide again. Addison not on the field. I'm just sitting here, Yogi, thinking as Brown's tackle for short gain that may be a position that Lincoln Riley, it's a nice challenge to have, but to get all the receivers he has on the field, to get them all some touches.
Yeah, well, we talked to Dennis Simmons yesterday, who's coaching the outside receivers. He's been in this offense for a long time. He said, look, it's hot. We want guys fresh, and guys have earned the right to play, so we're going to roll them through.
Well, another pull and keep by Williams, and another first down. Takes a bump and then is out of bounds. Took a little bump there from Clay Wyatt.
Yeah, I think that one, he's going to feel that one in the film room, and maybe tomorrow morning. Watch his right shoulder at the end, right there. Look, he's a competitive young man. I mean, you're around him. We were around him this summer. He was a counselor at the Elite 11 along with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and he's alpha, man. He's got he's infectious. Guys gravitate towards him. An elite competitor. I love how he's just managing this game. Other than that hit right there, I think he could do away with that one.
All right, a little sweep by Travis Dye. You see your little sit down with Caleb Williams that we had on in the halftime report. And look, you talked about managing the magnitude of being the USC quarterback, but also managing this era where he's already established himself as a brand.
Yeah, it is.
Managing that, it's going to be a challenge.
It's going to be a challenge. I can remember when I was coaching here many years ago, and it was Matt Leinart in his 5th year, and we went and beat Notre Dame in the Bush Push game that every Trojan fan and football fan knows about. And after that game, Matt came into the office and was just like, man, like, it's a little too much, everything, all the attention, all the expectations, returning Heisman Trophy winner. And I say that because the same thing happened with John David Booty, Mark Sanchez, Matt Barkley, Sam Darnold. When you play the position here, so much comes with that. And that's what I love, though, about Lincoln Riley. And look at his brief history. Whether it was Baker Mayfield managing that, whether it was Kyler Murray managing that, Jalen Hurts managing that. I think it's really important to have that guy in that chair, the head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, that can see it kind of happening and get ahead of it. And that's going to be something to track as the year goes on, because it will happen. I think it happens to every quarterback in the country.
And that's going to be just enough for a first down. Austin Jones slithering through the middle. Well, think about Sid Sandarnold, the quarterbacks here. JT Daniels, Keaton Slovis. They played each other the other night, I heard.
What a game. Backyard brawl.
Jackson Dart. Ole Miss today won. Beat Troy. Jackson Dart didn't have a huge numbers day. I mean, just think, that's 3 quarterbacks that have been here, all of whom have been put out there with some pretty good promise, all of whom were moved up. JT Daniels, how many, 3 or 4 times, I think, right?
Yeah.
Mario Williams to Williams inside the 30.
Yeah, that was a great route. And he was going up against a name we haven't talked about today, Gabriel Taylor. We haven't said his name very often. He's the younger brother of Sean Taylor. Yes, that's Sean Taylor, 18 years younger than him. Simply man-to-man coverage. Caleb stayed with it. Mario did a nice job at the top of that route.
18-yard gain. There's Gabriel Taylor. 18 years difference in age from Sean Taylor, who was a tremendous player, Miami of Florida, Washington, NFL, and then was murdered in a robbery at a home. Gabriel was very young when that happened. And Austin Jones, look at that. Breaking tackles for a touchdown.
Austin Jones, 28 yards.
Well, he follows the pulling offensive lineman, picks up a little block from his receivers, and then the rest is on his own right here. Contact, a little stiff arm, that right arm, keeps the leg drive going. Breaking tackles, finding the end zone. He wanted a fresh start. He got it. Pretty impressive on that play.
And USC tacks on more 85 yards, 8 plays, 7 of them on the ground. Maybe it for Caleb.
When your money's good, you feel good. Easy credit building, early payday, fee-free overdrafts. It's banking the way it should be. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
Lots of smiles today on this opener that everybody from late November when Lincoln Riley was hired just over 9 months ago waited for this day. A ton of players that have never experienced the Coliseum. 59 for USC, 21 of them from the defense. And let's get another update in San Francisco with Mark Woolard.
Yeah, guys, and brought to you by Taco Bell. You just saw a long run there. There was one in Florida as well. Anthony Richardson looking. Oh, look at that. There's the left side of the field all wide open. How about if I just take it for 45 yards into the end zone? And at the half, it's a good one. Florida's ahead of Utah, 14-13. Back to Los Angeles and Ted Yogi.
All right, Mark, so in that game, a lot of folks in the conference really watching and paying attention and hoping for good news for the Utes in that game. There we go as the shadows start to lengthen. Lights are coming on at the Coliseum. The late afternoon. 98 degrees at the peak. Flag down as McMahon runs. Good run for McMahon out to the 46.
I think that one might be coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 52. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Good run by TJ McMahon is wiped out. I heard good things about him. We were here last week for practice, and good things about Miller Moss.
Yeah, he really has grown as a player. Remember, he didn't get a senior year due to COVID.
Broussard is going to be out. Got about 10 yards back. Well, of course, this field, I mean, this stadium's hosted so much magnificent stuff, including Super Bowl VII, which was the Miami Dolphins winning the famous Garia Premian, trying to throw a pass game. Look it up, folks. But the very next year, the Super Bowl was played at Rice Stadium in Houston. That's right, it was played in Houston, outdoors. Miami beating the Minnesota Vikings in that one. Those are the great Dolphins teams. The Zonka, Kick, Warfield, Greasy.
How about that? Back-to-back years.
This is, you know, you don't think of this as a campus stadium, even though it kind of is on the USC campus. You don't really think of it that way, but the Super Bowl was twice played on the Rice campus and on Stanford's campus. Don't forget, 1985 Super Bowl, Stanford Stadium. San Francisco beating Miami. Dan Marino's one and only Super Bowl. So, anyway, slight diversion there because it's 59-14. On our Pac-12 kickoff week presented by Taco Bell. Pac-12 kickoff week is presented by Taco Bell and brought to you by 76. We're on the driver's side. And by Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Now just outside the Coliseum, this is just off to our left from where we're looking. That is a building that's being designed by a renowned architect, Ma Yan Song. It's in Exposition Park. The Lucas Museum of Narrative Art will encompass artworks from across cultures, places, times, and mediums. It's going to have 2 state-of-the-art theaters, expansive galleries, dedicated spaces for learning, dining, and retail. It's supposed to be finished next year. What else? I was here, we were here last week for practice, Jokie, and I didn't know what the building was. Yeah. So thankfully Molinari's very smart. He figures this out. More pressure from the Trojan front. And another swat down. That's Jamar Sakona from Fairfax up in Marin County. Marin Catholic High. You've heard of that, Jared Goff?
Jared Goff, Morgan Mulholland. A lot of players coming out of that area. I'll tell you what's interesting about Alex Grinch. He continues to tell his team, hey, we're going to play the game twice before we play. We're going to play it twice before we play. We're going to play it on Tuesday, play it on Wednesday. And he said sometimes...
What does that mean?
He said every coach says that. It means we're going to go hard, just like we are in the game, on Tuesday and Wednesday. He said every coach says it. In the history of ball, says we want practice to be harder than the games.
Wow, good cover and tackle of Gary Bryant. Nice job there. Get that, identify that Rice player for you when we can. When we come back to LA. The most anticipated opener in USC football for years. The change is dramatic. Williams pulls it back, and there's the first USC touchdown. Off his hand and picked, 92 yards. Shane Lee is in, pick 6. And McMahon throws another pick, the 3rd of the game. Well, through 3 quarters, that's probably the most startling part of the day is a trifecta. I used to do that at Aqueducts when I was a kid. Anyway, 3 pick 6s for USC today. I'm wondering how much does a coach today like Lincoln Riley hold back for the conference game next week? What do you think?
Well, we asked him that yesterday, and I think to me the biggest thing that you want to do in a game like this in your opener, oh, as you see Mr. Brown.
Yes. Miller Moss, the quarterback. Brown gets the carry and flags fly.
He said real quick, I think the biggest thing you want to do in a game like this is you just want to go play, right? Like, and he said, look, our playbook, we don't have everything in. We just want to make sure we can be efficient because they didn't know what they would even see on either side of the ball. So now it'll be interesting heading into the Stanford game.
Holding, offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Yeah, of course, the advantage that, if there is an advantage for David Shaw and his staff for next week, Mike Bloomgren was laughing this week. He had no idea what positions guys are going to be. I mean, the USC, like which receivers and which positions. He said we'd be watching warm-ups today to try to get an idea.
Yeah, I got to imagine those two will chat at some point in advance of the game, share some notes. It'll be fun to see a conference game this early.
Gary Bryant with the catch. I started on this earlier, but to me, the position that I'm going to watch most this year for USC, and all the eyeballs are going to be on the quarterback and the receivers, and running backs, defensive line, and a very close second offensive line. And this week, Greg Moraz, our Wingdo stat man guru, compiled everything again for us, packed players on NFL rosters. a great credit to Coach B. Washington had the most.
Yep.
But USC continues, and I did the count.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
USC continues to be shockingly low in linemen. A few new, Vera Tucker, more recently, there have been a few, but still not enough for USC, both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I think we caught glimpses of the Georgia game. You see some of those elite teams around the country where they hope to get back to. You got to have some of that. Ted, for me, it's the edge rusher. I want to see if you can have it disrupt.
Yeah,
I've loved watching Corey Foreman today. Great energy as the game has gone on. What does he do next week against an offensive line that have been in the program for 3 years? Finally had an finally had an off season. That's where my eyeball is going to go every weekend.
All right, all kinds of flags again with a big body for Rice, big defensive lineman laying on the ground. You know where that's coming. That was Isaiah Floyd that was taken down.
Holding. Offense, number 76. That penalty's declined. Fourth down. Correction. The holding was on number 72.
See Lincoln Riley get off the field. He talked yesterday to us about the standard there, specifically on offense. What he wants to see from his O-lines. You track him back, you go all the way back to East Carolina, Oklahoma here. I mean, his O-line said they've been really creative, and I think that's the big differentiator for him and anybody else in the air raid.
Well, USC has a new punter, which took us to the fourth quarter to introduce him to you. That is Aiden Sleep Dalton from Geelong, Australia. Remember his brother Michael?
Yeah. Well, how about this for Aiden? Number one, that's the first time he's ever punted a football. This guy played Aussie rules. But welcome to college football.
Timeout on the field.
Well, Ted, yeah, you know those wedding bells right there. And for USC, 4 players are married on this team. How about Solomon Byrd, Andrew Voorhees, new quarterback Jake Jensen, and Travis Dye married this past off season. Pretty cool when you look at 4 guys on a team that get married. And how about Samantha and the dress of Andrew Voorhees? I'll show you that here in a second.
All right, so TJ McMahon with the handoff, short yardage.
This was awesome. Andrew Voorhees, man, we've been talking about him for a long time. He's got a great story about him. Of course, you see him and his wife Samantha there. This is a guy who decided to come back. A lot of people talking about him at the next level, and he is one of those leaders up front. So many guys that played a lot of football. He's got his bonus year, 6th year. Brett Nealon, Justin Dietich. I feel like they've been around for a long time, and they love this new scheme.
2nd and 9 for Rice. Ari Broussard, the back. And misfire there. There would have been a first down. Isaiah Esdale, the receiver.
You know, Ted, I think this side of the ball, right, if we're real about it, right? The last couple years on defense, USC has not done well, and they've added some new pieces, but to me, it's not like the offense, where like so much productivity has shown up via the portal. But you could tell their confidence just continues to grow, whether it's each practice or now here with their first game. First couple drives, they did not look great, but since then, the side of the ball plays well.
3rd down, and they throw it over McCaffrey. McCaffrey curled underneath, and the deep out to Esdale is a Rice first down.
Nice catch, but keep an eye right here. Watch this movement. Corey Foreman plays inside right here, standing up. That little 1-2 move in the hands. But this was the biggest recruit. This was like Kayvon Thibodeau,
yes,
right? Best defensive player in America last year. Didn't do what he hoped to do. Didn't do what outsiders thought he could do. It's kind of, everybody's curious. Like, everybody doesn't always pan out as a 5-star recruit, as we know. I love his confidence continually growing as he's gotten more and more game reps today.
So Rice with the ball at the USC 38. Good pick up there, some rush, and that gets McMahon the room to run outside and run it for a first. Broussard will pick this up.
Nice job recognizing from McMahon, knowing where the sticks are. I think for Rice, while their starter, Wiley Green, was knocked out of this game, hopefully not for too long, but if it is a long time, they've got a guy in McMahon that they feel really good about as they head down their schedule.
I'll just reiterate, if you haven't been with us, next year Rice is going to move leagues. They're going to go to the American Athletic Conference. It's all part of the ongoing shift. 6 schools will be going in to the American. Florida Atlantic, San Antonio's one of them, North Texas. But the point being for Mike Bloomgren, for Rice, their revenues, the television alone is going to multiply dramatically, just give them far more tools to work with. And as Mike talked to us the other day, he said it's already helped him in recruiting. You can tell.
Yeah, the recovery system, just all the elements are going to add to the incredible education that Rice allows.
Eric Broussard piled up, even though Cincinnati's leaving that league and Houston's leaving. But there'll be some private schools that Rice feels attuned with, private schools like SMU and Tulane, and Navy is also an affiliate member of the American Athletic Conference.
Well, yeah, with yesterday's news around the college football playoff expansion, right? Everybody's got that Cincinnati blueprint now.
Yeah.
They got to the playoff with 4. It's going to be the top 6 conference champions, not Power 5 conference champions. So a lot to sell for them as they move forward regarding opportunity.
High and incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down now for Rice. That playoff note, it's impossible to ignore the fact that the presidents took over and did in about 20 minutes what the athletic directors and commissioners had spent a year trying to do and couldn't get done. Interesting.
It's the best.
Without being in the room, I have no idea why. You just know what happened.
Yeah, it's the best thing for the game, and I think we'll get some stability around all this movement we've seen in college football.
Which was also done by the presidents, but that's another story.
That's another podcast.
4th down here. McMahon standing in. Oh, he can run this. Wow, he could have run that for a 1st down. He had all the field in the world to run. But instead, it'll be a turnover on downs to USC. And that'll be with 9:15 to play. And Lincoln Riley's going to have a chance here to get a lot of people into the game. Pretty good day, isn't it, for Caleb Williams in his debut? 8th start in college, and he said, I want to be like Coach Riley 2.0 on the field. Is that precocious? Lincoln Riley says, I completely trust him.
Yeah.
8th start.
He's a real one, man. A lot of recruits come with excessive hype. I'm telling you, Ted, we get to see these high school quarterbacks at the Elite 11.
Miller Moss pulls it down and completes a pass. Like I said, this is the fun day now for a lot of players on the roster that may not get much of a chance. That's C.J. Williams.
He's talented. But just to finish that point on Caleb, to me, he, at that age, at 17, 18 years old, he's in the same conversation as Jameis Winston, who's the #1 pick, Trevor Lawrence, who's the #1 pick, Justin Fields, who was a high pick, and Tua Tagovailoa. Like, that's the best I've ever seen in that stage, and he's got some uniqueness to him.
Malik Brown dancing inside, pushing it out near the 45. We're just watching a little bit of Malik Brown. We were here again. We were at a practice last week on Dado Field, by the way. How stunning was that to see USC football practicing, and Andy Stankiewicz, the new baseball coach here, allowed football to use the legendary Dado Field. Hall of Famers have played. But Malik Brown, I mean, even that you saw stood out. He has, and I'm wondering, I've watched him today, and I said to you, could he be the kind of player that Oregon used to have? A couple of those, the DeAnthony Thomas type of player.
A resounding yes.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
And these are projections. I'm not saying he's there. Trust me. Watch this. Let's see. Spinning and running. And Malik Brown takes it down to the 15.
Does it feel like it's his first game ever? No. Watch his hands as he catches the ball. Just so natural and boom, immediately upfield. No dancing, just burst. Understands how fast he is, how to set up defenders, and he just keeps running so hard. I couldn't help but seeing that run and that excitement. It reminds me when Matt Leinart was a little bit older, but an old number 5 showed up here, and Reggie Bush, and just a small package, but you saw it grow and grow and grow.
Now there's the only concern about that play is that at the end of it, Malik Brown has to limp off. And again, that's with a conference game next week. This is Austin Jones, who's going to be going back to Stanford next week. He's going to take a nice Trojan debut with him. He scored 2 touchdowns today. So it's first and goal at the 2 for USC. Actually at the 1.
But Josh Follow hit a tight end. He's the one that had the game-clinching catch against Stanford in the Pac-12 title.
Look who's in the backfield. And look who gets the ball. That's Darwin Barlow, who played here last year, but has had to take a little bit of a secondary role with all the new arrivals. And he gets a touchdown on his first carry.
Lincoln Riley talked about, look, we're going to play the best guys, and that's it. And it's been really competitive. And Barlow, we loved what we saw a year ago from him. SC staff likes what they have with him. He's kind of the heavy back. And he's just got to stick with it, because there'll be a game, I think, where all these backs have their turn as the season goes on, where you're going to need some of those tough yards and you put Barlow in the game, or you're going to need another tight end, or another big receiver. Yep. Caleb Williams will have a lot of different weapons.
All right, let's go back and look at this 19 for 22 Trojan debut.
Well, the number one thing Lincoln Riley wanted to see was him play efficient and play with his feet and his eyes within the pocket. Right? Everybody knows he can run, he's athletic. How about this play? He trusts the incredible pass pro from Travis Dye, finds Kyron Ware for a big completion, and then sits in the pocket, trusts his eyes, works through his progression. Nothing there? Let me just check that ball down. No problem there, checking it down to his back. And then one more time, sitting in the pocket, eyes to his right, can feel the pressure, looks across at a variety of wide receivers, and then he bursts out of the pocket, easy completion. So many weapons, whether it was Kyron Hudson, or whether it was Mario Williams, Jordan Addison, so many wide receivers for Caleb Williams. You couldn't ask for a more efficient day, and also playing within the confines of the offense. And I think that is the big takeaway when you look at what Lincoln Riley asked him to do this offseason and in training camp, and what we've seen in the game.
Okay, touchback again, and 3 pick sixes today for USC. Look at that, FIU did that. I didn't even know there was an FIU in 2005.
It's incredible. You know, this team, Alex Rich, we've always heard the same thing from him of, like, he just wants his guys to fly around the defensive side of the field. And he's on his guys. I was saying earlier at the end of the third quarter, they try to play, quote unquote, the game twice. So Tuesday practice is hard. Try to recreate that atmosphere. Same thing Wednesday. And we asked him yesterday, well, how do you do that? And he goes, well, our staff is just on these guys, trying to recreate an environment, a hostile environment to play the game in. And you felt as the game went on, especially with those 3 interceptions, guys were flying to the ball, especially the go-forth interception for a touchdown. So for Alex Grinch, it wasn't perfect, but this defense is headed in the right direction.
A couple of big run plays in the first half by Montgomery. That There's a large chunk of the 152 they have allowed on the ground. Next week, much different test for the USC defense. Tanner McKee and a good receiving core. By the way, as we're talking about Elite 11 and quarterbacks, did I tell you early today that Yogi Roth's an author? I think I dropped that in. So that was I didn't want to bury the headline. Everybody knows that. Yogi and Joey Roberts combined for this fabulous book, 5-Star Quarterback, Amazon. Just go get it. Buy 7.
Well, what
Give
I love
them away
about
as
the
gifts.
book is that, well, you're in it, offering advice to quarterbacks.
Despite that, please buy the book.
So is Caleb Williams, as is Lincoln Riley, as is David Shaw, offering advice to quarterbacks and their families going through.
Whoa. Big rush there and a takedown. That's Tyrone Taleni.
Tyrone Taleni, 26 years old, out of Western Samoa, added some depth to that defensive line. Great effort. And it becomes contagious at some point, right? Everybody on that defense, and I love the sideline of USC right now. Everybody's standing up. Everybody's standing up, Ted, and that's a little thing, but guys are still engaged in the game, cheering on their teammates.
Gary Bryant, once again, the return man on the punts for USC. Okay. By the way, are you and Joey, is that a 50-50 split on this?
Oh, always.
You're a tough negotiator. That's why I had to ask. A lot of joy. A lot of joy. The Owl didn't get the Troy today, did it?
Justin Dedich, a man of many talents. Didn't know he was this talented at the belly flop. How about the pose from the USC captain? This is as good as you're going to find for anybody, let alone an O-lineman. But we had a chance to talk to him last week, and he's been around a lot. He's so excited. He said, look, I'm not only am I proud of my belly flop, but I'm also proud of that mustache that I've been growing for the last couple of years. He's a stud.
The caption of that picture, fly like an eagle. Oh. Steve Miller Band. Brendan Rice out near midfield.
I think, Ted, for this offense, as we get under the 4-minute mark here, when they go into next week, and I think even as the season goes on, you've got your mainstays like Jordan Addison, but I do think it's going to be by committee in game. I think there'll be some games where Brendan Rice goes off. There'll be some games where they got to lean on Travis Dye more or Austin Jones more. I think that's just how this thing is built within the system for Lincoln Riley.
Moss with a keep down near the 40-yard line. Addison had 2 touchdown catches today. He wasn't the big play threat that he was last year at Pitt. It was phenomenal. We'll be going up to Pullman to join J.B. Long and Ryan Leaf next. And then on our partners tonight, I mean, just high intrigue in the Boise State-Oregon State game. And then Kent State-Washington as well. Debut for Caleb DeBoer. Of course, if you're not familiar, Reser Stadium is undergoing construction this year. It's going to be limited capacity, which meant they sold the tickets.
Yeah, it's going to be rocking. We had a chance to go there about a week and a half ago, watch them in camp, and that team may not have Jordan Addison, see Barlow around the edge, Ted, but they don't have weaknesses. And what they do have is 2 real corners in Alex Austin and Rajon Wright. So for SC and Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, you look at their next couple of weeks, they're going to be tested.
There's a lot of hope for Oregon State. They turned the corner last year to start to win some of those close games. But I saw it during basketball season. I saw a video of what Reser Stadium will look like for next football season. Fabulous. Just a tremendous, when it's finished, it's going to be a great, great place to watch a college football game in a fabulous college football town.
Looking forward to getting there, seeing what that shakeup is like with that stadium and the fan base this year with the 27,000 or so. Maybe for Miller Monster.
There want to be some angry beavers up there. We want there to be some angry beavers.
Yes.
Timeout, USC. First of the half, 30-second out.
I mentioned Jordan Addison, who just crushed last year, led FBS with 17 touchdowns with 9 touchdowns of 20-plus yards. The Bolitnikoff Award is given out every year to the nation's top receiver. And Marquise Lee is the only USC receiver to win that award. They pretty much said they would love to make that and see if Jordan Addison could be a 2-time winner. Only Michael Crabtree has ever done that.
Yeah, and Lincoln Riley was around for that at Texas Tech, of course. And it's surprising when you hear that too, right? Ted, you're like, wow, only one?
Yeah.
The amount of elite receivers that have come out of USC. And how about this? He's wearing number 3, and he had to ask to wear number 3 from Carson Palmer. And we asked him, hey, how'd you go through that? What'd you ask him? What'd you say on the phone? And he said, you know, at first I was kind of nervous to talk to him. It's Carson Palmer, like a little shy. And Carson said, hey, make the number proud. Have fun with it. And wish you the absolute best rocking number 3.
And it's an interesting thing because there is a phenomenon that's developed in recent years with the young players. Everybody wants to wear single digits. And college football allows, sadly, they have to, I guess, the number of players. They have double numbers. Have to be on the opposite sides of the ball, but double numbers. On these two teams tonight, the 20 single-digit numbers, 19 of them are double. The only one that's not is USC number 3. Addison is the only one wearing number 3 for USC. Every other single digit for both Rice and USC is a double number. And that's what the equipment guys go crazy, is that every guy comes in wants a single-digit number. Those are things you learn from equipment people and managers. We would never know that.
Oh, that's great. Kyle Ford. He's battled so many injuries. Another huge recruit out of high school. And we talked to him at practice a couple weeks ago. He said, going through that rehab, getting injured again was one of the best things for me, to just take a pause because of all the pressure that was on him coming out of high school. That catch, he kind of looked like Crabtree. How many times do we see Michael Crabtree make those back shoulder catches?
One time too few for me, but that's another story.
Yeah. It's another podcast.
It's a different league. Anyway, final minute here of this big scoring game for USC. The 66 is going to be the most points they've scored in a game here since 2005 against UCLA, and the most anywhere, or most in a game since 2008 when they had 69 in Pullman.
I was at both of those games. Remember that feeling on that side?
Of course you were.
Like everything was working.
Did you have incentive bonuses for those point totals? Come on.
When you got talent, sometimes you got to keep home
That's
players.
why Coach Carroll answered your call this morning, right?
That's right.
He knew.
Yeah, and he was so excited for Lincoln Riley and this new era. So many people comparing the potential of Lincoln to what Coach Carroll did here at SC, and understand why.
All right, Barlow gets the final carry of the game. And so, after 9 months and a week, Lincoln Riley can exhale. He's officially a winning USC football coach. And you'd have to say, everybody who came today, surviving 98-degree heat. Yogi went through 3 shirts. That's another story. But they had to feel pretty good about what they saw. First impression was terrific.
It was terrific. Look, it didn't start off beautiful on defense, but this defense is a work in progress. But for that man and Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley in this offense, you saw the weapons, you saw the efficiency, you saw the development, and I think we've seen the standard of what they hope to do offensively week in and week out. Ted, not going to get any easier, though, as they kick off conference play.
So 66 points, 21 by the defense, 3 pick sixes, the ultimate defensive trifecta, but a terrific offensive day. Thanks to our entire crew, Michael Molinari, Scott Barkey, Sam Poles, once again back as our brains in the booth. We thank you all. We'll be in Eugene next Saturday. Hope you'll join us there. We have more football ahead, but right now back to our studios to join Ashley Adamson and the crew.